People, deluded, I'm back again. Apologies for smacking that. Arsenal have obviously just defeated Olympiacos 1-0. It's a clean sheet. It's a, a desired victory. That all important away goal. At the end of the day, it's a W in terms of momentum after winning again in the league finally against Newcastle. And now we can firmly focus on Everton. Going into this game, I don't need to tell you why Arsenal need to take the Europa League seriously. I take it the point you're at with your football. You watch my videos because you're religious football followers, so you know Arsenal have underperformed in the league. We have to take the Europa League seriously. It's obviously the first game in Europe that Arteta took charge of today, and he got it with a victory. It's also a chance for him to win a trophy. It's also the Champions League that we can get from it. We know, like we said, we know when you hear Olympiacos, they came out of the Champions League, but you obviously saw they were quite decent in the in that, and you know what, they did credit to themselves against Spurs in Munich. I believe they're unbeaten in 18 games coming into this game, so they're not small fry. If you just take the fact that they're Olympiacos and we're Arsenal, you're going to be in for a rude mistake, and you're sadly mistaken. Socrates told these lot of the atmosphere and whatnot. You could hear the rules on the TV. It did. I don't know if it kind of got to the players at times early on, but it might have had a case to play. And what was I going to say as well? Obviously, big call Socrates at right back. We never saw Marie. Martinelli's back in the side. Laka started. Aubameyang started. I'm sure you all saw the other things and whatnot. We were lucky not to be 3-4 down in that first half, in my opinion, because in literally the second, third minute, Valbuena had a good effort, and then he put in a lovely cross to the back post. We was giving away silly free kicks. I felt we was very reactive in what we was doing. Our midfield was the only time I really saw real possession and dominance in midfield. Really was in the cameo that Ceballos played. We were losing the midfield battle. We weren't really doing anything when we were presented with the ball in midfield. You look at Guendouzi, Xhaka and Joe Willock. None of them have the skill set to continuously look to break the line, and I do think that harms the team. At the same time, there's a lack of movement from our wide men and our front men, and whatnot. At the same time, I will give credit to Olympiacos. They came out here, they didn't respect us. They had a number of efforts early on. The fans fed off that. I think their centre-half Bar today had a great game, and allegedly Arsenal were looking at him. I think if they have already got scouting reports and they were looking for that one confirmation, I think he played very well today. I felt I was impressed with Olympiacos in terms of positioning. They flooded the midfield and joined the attack when they could. Valbuena, obviously, he's old, but he's still got it in terms of set-piece deliveries and being a threat. And we were very fortunate not to be down, really. The one real positive, beyond the obvious, that I'll take from today is I actually feel we defended relatively well beyond the half chances we gifted to them. I felt we was very sloppy on the ball early on as well, people. I couldn't believe it. We're struggling to make 5-yard passes. We're struggling to keep on the ball. Not to scapegoat Joe Willock, but I'm tired of these flicks in midfield at times from individuals. Like, we needed to just get the ball down and play some football. And Olympiacos, they were getting it forward, and they did look like they were going to score numerous times. Leno made a number of saves early on as well, people. We're just losing the midfield battle. I did feel as well, obviously Socrates, I think he did alright today, but he's doing a job really at right back. He's not a right back by trade, and I think a lot of that was why he was quite narrow in the game at times from defensive opportunities. So the one time Aubameyang weren't there, Olympiacos were targeting the moves and getting 2v1s against him and whatnot, and taking full advantage of that wide area. And I did think at half time, not because Socrates is playing badly, I just feel we're too, like we typically are, because of Saka, Martinelli or Aubameyang, we're too focused down the left-hand side, and there's not really much on. Right on the right, Aubameyang's been shifted out there. Socrates isn't going to overlap and contribute in the final third per se, so we're a bit dead out there. I did feel it's no coincidence that in the second half, when Aubameyang went out wide, you started to, on the left, out wide to the left, you saw an improvement. But I did feel we need to get things going in midfield. I mean, down the flanks as well as in midfield. We were just very reactive is the best way to put it. It took us a while. I did think we had a decent end to the first half, in that we had a strong, if you can say that, end to it. Last 15, I think we started to wake up. I don't know if Olympiacos got tired, but that aggression and that tenacity and that hunger they were playing with, they still had it, but they started to sit back and not mount counters as much. both halves we spent a lot camped in our own half. It is worth mentioning. But I just felt, yeah, man, I just felt that we need more movement from our front men. We need more quality with everybody on the ball in possession, and we need more from our midfielders in an offensive sense. The referee for both teams was a bit shocking today. I don't feel Guendouzi had the best of games, but I have sympathy for him because it seemed like they were intent on writing him off, man. Stepping on his foot, clamping him. It was bad. Like I said, the one positive is for me is the defenders. I feel Mustafi had a good game. I feel Luiz did what he could. Saka had a so-so game for me in that it was decent, but let's be honest, until we won, it was probably 5 out of 10 performances all round, with the exception of Saka, Mustafi and everybody. Mustafi, Saka, Luiz, Socrates within the context, and definitely Leno, probably the outstanding candidates for me, really. Lacazette's obviously missing sitters. There was one opportunity. I don't feel Martinelli's having the best of games in that he's a young man. We stick by him. It's not his game. It's not the game. A number of players are not that they're not performing. There's not much on. There's not much going on, and obviously he's part of that. But there was one incident, as well as I don't feel Joe Willock's skill set is to try and play that Mesut Ozil role, that, you know, being the creative catalyst for the team, breaking the lines. I don't feel he can currently do that. I think he's a box-to-box sort of man. But we're lacking in that. But the one time Joe played one lovely ball, I can't remember who he played it to. He played it to someone. Ball looked like it was going off down the left-hand sort of side of the penalty area. Martinelli did well to keep it on. Lacazette's got to score it. Lacazette had a couple of sitters. I know he scored eventually in the game, but he had a couple of sitters and things he should do better with. Before I forget, second half, that penalty shout, I actually believed it was a penalty shout first time. Then I'm seeing it, it's like, why didn't you hit that? Why didn't you try it? Why didn't you hit it? Why did you try to do step overs? Maybe the atmosphere is getting to us, because I don't want to say it's a lack of confidence, but it did look like no one was trying to be brave, really. And that's kind of why I wanted Ceballos to stay, because I kind of knew to a degree what to expect. Valbuena is of importance to me as well, to the opposition, because he's not 29 anymore. 29 is not the best example. He's not 30. He's not 18 or anything. He's not going to hug the touchline. He was quite narrow, and I was thinking, if you get Maitland-Niles down that right hand side with an Aubameyang or someone, or Pepe if he comes on at this moment, I'm thinking we can get something going, because Socrates is not playing bad. It's just square pegs in round hole sort of thing with him out there, really. I feel Aubameyang's doing what he can, but we don't really like him on the left, but he's better on the left than he is on the right. Obviously, a bit of it, him going on the right hand side, is his pace will give the opposition fullback something to think about, because they will see a centre half basically playing at fullback. Really, I feel their left back played well. I think Barr at centre half played well. Is it Camara in midfield? He played well. Their striker worked hard. I feel all their man there worked hard. Semedo did what he could. We were just really we just had to count our chickens, really. That at half time we were not a couple of goals down. Like I've already said, midfield I want to see more. There is a lack of movement. There is a lack of quality when we're on the ball. I don't know if there's a loss of confidence as well. I was thinking to myself, surely Joe Willock's got to get clipped for Ceballos, potentially Socrates for Maitland-Niles. Just not because, I mean, everybody's playing so-so. I don't think anybody's glaringly poor people. We're just not at it collectively. But I was thinking we need to sacrifice these lot and get something going. Well, it is what it is. I did feel we started the second half how we ended the last 15, and that we was a bit better, but it's still a lack of quality, really and truly. We're still gifting unneeded chances to Olympiacos, and more quality finishing they could potentially score. Leno made a number of important saves. The highlight for me is, I don't even remember what effort it was, but he came off his line and got a little punch on it. These sort of things were happening to us, and we spent a lot of the half, like the first half, camped in our own half, because there weren't really much quality coming on. I did think when Aubameyang shifted to the left hand, I didn't agree with Martinelli coming off. I felt the only one really. I didn't even, Lacazette, there was a case of come off, but I was just focused on Joe Willock, to be fair with you. I think he did very well to play as long as he did, and I'm a big Joe fan. I just don't think that's his role. Hope to be proven wrong. I just think he's got a future here, but it's a box-to-box. He plays in the pivot, like he plays ahead of Guendouzi with Xhaka, or in Xhaka's place or something. He competes with them man there. because to be honest, he played in that role that he played today at in academy level, and he was someone that played a bit more further forward, give or take. But since he's been exposed to the first team, it's just not his style. And I think, like I said, when Martinelli was hard done by, but when Aubameyang went to the left-hand side, Saka, because Xhaka started covering him, like the end of the last 15 of the first half, Saka was allowed to stay camped further forward, so we can start to get things going. Pepe coming on obviously provided that balance. I think Ceballos, I won't say he changed the game, but I think with him being a bit more braver on the ball and Xhaka started to come into it a tiny bit as well, we were starting to make things happen. Listen, as it's getting down to the dying embers of the game, I can't lie, I'm just focused on not conceding, people. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm just focused on not conceding, because got that small bit of me is that, you know, Olympiacos deserve at least a goal for their collective performance, but it is what it is. Many people won't big up Mustafi, but I feel Mustafi had a good game defensively, but he's pivotal to our goal, because everything I said we lacked, he showed. We know Mustafi's got a mistake in him, but he's been in decent form. I think Saka said it about Arteta. He made an important point. If there's space, you don't necessarily need to pass sideways. And Mustafi collects it. I think it's about 7 to 9 parts move, people, off the top of my head. Can't remember who, but I think Leno gives it to Mustafi. Rather than just pass it to Socrates or whoever was on the field at that moment in time, or his fellow centre-half partner, he brought it up further forward and he kept attacking the space that was there for him. It's a lovely pass out to Aubameyang. Aubameyang's on the left-hand side, and he did show a couple little neat bits and bobs on the right-hand side, but he's better on the left. He's more comfortable there. He beats his man. He controls it nicely, sorry. He beats his man. Saka, you know what, Saka, there's a reason he's got 9 assists now, and there's a reason we're very scared in relation to his contract. He's added a couple of more zeros and grands on that contract, deservedly so, and bonuses and whatnot. He gets his head up. He delivers a lovely cross. Lacazette, to be fair, he keeps going. He keeps his head up and he scores. And to be fair, he should have about a hat-trick in the same way Olympiacos should have put this game to bed in the first 10 minutes or so against us. Lacazette stepped up and scored. We get out of jail. It's a smash and grab. We end the game. End of the day is we go to the Emirates 1-0 up. Clean sheet. Vital away goal, and we need not make that harder than it needs to be. Let's come out. And this game was very reminiscent for me with Newcastle. The only difference is that there was an onslaught of goals in the second half against Newcastle, and we did have chances to Lacazette even could have scored more in this game as well. The only difference is the scoreline, and we need to start starting games better again. The one positive I will say again is we look a bit more solid defensively, and long term under Arteta with the transfer window and potentially better players coming in, I'm keen to see what we can do. Luiz leading not just in performance but leading vocally in the little clips you have access to on the TV as well. I was liking that. Socrates, I think Socrates held it up in that right back role. I do think they targeted him. I do think he had a long day at the office, and it's no surprise he had cramp, but he did what he could do in the context. He's not a natural right back, so at times he's going to be over narrow. Is what it is. Kind of want to see, I know Maitland-Niles ain't a right back, but I kind of want to see players that are slightly more comfortable in that role play there if Suarez isn't going to be there, because I don't really want to see the Socrates right back experiment. I thought it was more likely to be Mustafi out there. Mustafi's not even a right back himself, but it is what it is. We weren't at our best, but we win. We move on to Everton. Hopefully we can... Our last 2 games, we need to start... Based on our last 2 games, we need to start significantly better than how we played against Everton, than how we did against Newcastle and Olympiacos. But for now, what can I say, man? We live to fight another day. Is what it is. Arsenal 1, Olympiacos 0. This is only half time in the tie, so we're gonna need to be serious when we meet them again. But move on to Everton, yeah, people. And with that, I've got nothing more to say. So if you've got some opinions, comment, like, subscribe, share up the vid. Obviously, yeah, there's nothing more to say on that front. So DG's gonna keep it moving. I'm out.